Hello, it's Matt Chapman, and I'm here with Mauro Ghilardi in Milan, in Italy. And Mauro, you're the Director of People and Transformation for A2A. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks, everybody.
Now, you and I caught up a few months ago, and things have changed a lot for you. So you started this new role in July 2020, which is quite an interesting time to take on a new role. What's it been like?
Well, it's been funny, right? Because first of all, it is a new role in a new city. So I'm back to Milan, where I'm from, and the first few days in the office was quite strange because I was probably one of the few people back in the office at that time. So Milan was not in lockdown, but was pretty much everybody was working remotely. Nowadays we are getting better. Now let's see what happens next. But it was funny to get to know people through video collection, and not physical. And I'm a very physical person, so I like to see people, to discuss with them close. So it's a completely new experience in a new company. So, but so far so good.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, when we're physical people, but we're getting very used to operating through screens now. What has been the tricks, from your perspective, in terms of building relationships virtually?
So I think I don't think there is any trick. I mean, there is the thing I do. I don't know if it works or not. Is just always to try to relate to the broader person, right? So if there is anything, any hint in the video connection, if there is anything that remind me of a broader, larger family, pets, friends, or whatever, just to make few comments that people can feel more personal. That's what I try to do, and at the same time to share more about myself. So I'm not saying I'm encouraging my family to jump behind the camera, but if it happens, I just handle that very naturally because, at the end of the day, we are not only the person that is seen in a little, thing on the screen, but we are much broader than that. And when you are personal, face to face, you can do that. But when you are not, you need to enlarge that space, that virtual space. That's what I do.
So you started in July 2020, and I think Italy was out of the first wave, but you've had 3 or 4 months in the role, and things are starting to hot up in Italy now with a second wave. What have you learnt over these last few months that's going to put you in better stead as you head into these near-term times?
So I think that there is a positive. I'm always a kind of a half full type of person. So I think that the positive is that this has definitely accelerated a move that was anywhere there around, working remotely, working from anywhere basically. And the positive is that a number of managers has learned that this is possible. So yesterday I was speaking with a colleague, talking about some managers that are still resisting, and this person told me, well, you need to know that 6 months ago, even the manager that seems more progressive now were very much resistant to that. So I think that definitely managers have seen that this can be done in a different way. We still need to convince few around this, and we need to convince them in order for them to feel that they cannot lose performance. I don't think it's about so much about control, but a number of people will feel that they will lose performance. So what we are working on is, and that's the learning, is how can we ensure that manager feel that they can still drive performance for themselves and for the business despite working remotely. Again, there is an element of losing control because you don't see people, but the vast majority of people are worried about, will I be able to deliver upon my result? Will I be able to deliver upon my commitment? And how do I do that? So if we, as an HR function, we are able to enable them to do that and bring the people in a different level as well, the employee, that will be a good solution. On the rest of the economics is not looking great down here. So I think a number of small businesses will probably collapse if we go into another lockdown. So we definitely hope that some of the measures that we put in place will still resist.
And what about the employee experience in the company and just employees enjoying where they're working despite all of the change going on, in the outside world? How are you dialing into that experience?
So we are checking regularly on the employee. So we are either checking through a survey or through personal contact. I think that the overall feeling is that people are very thankful for the decision we made around their personal security and personal safety. So they are very thankful because we are also trying best of our possibility to provide with additional test measure, additional vaccines, flu vaccine, I mean, and ensuring that they live in a, or they can operate in a sort of a more protected bubble when they have to come to work. So definitely people are happy about that. I think people are learning and we are trying to get them better in terms of how they can operate from home. And the other thing which we cannot control at the moment, but we are working on is how do we enable people that are working in relatively small spaces to find another place where they can go to. So we have a project with other companies to build a network of co-working facilities where our employee and the employee of other companies can join and mingle and work. Because if you're living in a small apartment with, your partner and a couple of kids, and you need to do 10 hours a day of video conferencing, we all know that this is not very good, right? So providing them with an opportunity to go and work maybe close to home in a different place where they can see other people from the company or from other companies, that's something that we are trying to, provide them as well.
I just want to pick up a point on surveying. There's a lot of, I guess, confusion as to how much we should survey. Do we survey when we kind of know what we might hear? What's your view on this subject, and what is the balance?
So I think I was thinking this yesterday night again, because I was looking at some of our digital plan, transformation plan, and they all start with a survey, right? They all start with asking employee about something. So I think it's important. I think we should do better around, quick pulse check survey and very small and focused. So I think that people, I personally, let's put it this way, I don't know the other, but I personally don't mind replying to 5 or 6 questions, even every day. I get bored about, having to do a survey about 70, 80 questions. And, I think we need to be better at scoping out data on few insights. And the other thing we should do is maybe sample survey more rather than, rather than having all the universal 12,000 employee in our case surveyed. So maybe we need to segment a little bit better. As marketing people, we do. I mean, I think that the disadvantage for us is that survey in theory costs nothing. So you can survey everybody every day because you just do it through internal internet other tools. So we need to be more mindful about people time and people reaction to that, I feel.
I like that. That's very smart advice. And I guess the final area, which, given we've got a global audience watching this video, from a cultural perspective, the Italian culture dealing with some of the challenges that are coming at country at the moment. What are you seeing that makes HR straightforward or complicated?
Oh, that's a different question. That's a difficult question because I'm still not quite sure whether I fit into the cultural Italian stereotype, having lived so much abroad. I feel one of the clear advantage of our culture when it comes to HR is the sense of proximity and the sense of closeness to people. And this is for the Italian, let's say, style and culture. HR in Italy is still an aura of being a little bit more close to the employer rather than to the employee. So that's where I think it doesn't always help. I think that there is a big transition in place, but especially in larger company with a strong industrial union type of HR approach, we are still in the middle of the river, right? So trying to figure out whether we want to be closer to the employee and get their trust, or being representative of the employer. And I think this transition has given us an opportunity to move toward the employee, right? So some of the decisions that HR has pushed in the country were more toward some bold decision around, get the people to live their life, get the people stay home, provide them with more freedom. I think that this has accelerated also this cultural transformation. It makes sense. So not to be perceived as so aligned with the bosses, but more aligned with employees. So maybe this has been also a good thing for a number of employee and HR employee in the countries.
Mauro, I wish you all the best in coming times, and always a pleasure to spend this time with you. Thank you.
Same here. Thank you, Matt.